What's going on? Welcome to the channel. Today we're starting off by going over how I built this beauty right here. Couldn't tell, this is my 1997 Ford Ranger XLT, but it's my own version, King Tonka version. Today we're gonna go over everything I've done to it, from suspension, wheels, engine, interior, everything. Let's flash back to freshman year Brandon. COVID has just hit and I just was getting my learner's permit and I needed a vehicle to drive. Growing up I had always wanted a Corvette, but there was no way the money that we had was going to get me a Corvette. So I settled with a Ford Ranger with about 84,000 miles for about $2,800, March of 2020. Literally the week that the world had started to shut down. And what was done with it by then? Basically nothing. It had already started to have faded paint and some tail lights aftermarket were installed and an aftermarket air filter was installed. So 2020 me was like, hey, whatever, it's a Ford Ranger. My dad's had a ton of these as work trucks. Let's go ahead and just take it. Now keep in mind, back then I had no job and I basically had no money. It was just birthday money and some odds and ends, mowing, whatever kind of stuff it was like that. And with the world shut down, I just didn't even really drive this truck from March till the fall when I had to go back to school. And with it sitting there, basically, it just sat on the street and the paint just got cooked even more than what it was. First time I ever had any plans of doing anything with this truck, 2020 me wanted to lift it and put some big tires on it. Now it is a two-wheel drive and it is a 4-cylinder. And luckily, everyone I talked to about doing that talked me out of it. Plus, I just didn't have the money. So I drive it for high school, a little bit of college. Fast forward to 2024, I'm in my second year of college, and I decide, hey, I think I want to end up lowering this truck, but I also want to do stuff to it. So working my summer internship, the first thing I decided to do to the truck was get these headlights right here. They were about $105 to $120, and I installed them the day I got them, and they were really nice. That's sort of the entryway into building stuff, is getting a nice pair of headlights, taillights, which it already had the taillights. And so after that, I was like, hey, I want more, but I need more money. So stock ride height, stock wheels, stock suspension, just new headlights, summer of 2024. Took it to get a tune-up, spark plugs, all that, coil packs. And then I was like, hey, I want to make some noise. That's when I got into speakers and the sound. I got myself a nice Pioneer, cheap $120 touchscreen Bluetooth stereo. Got that put in with some help and some speakers. Front two on the doors and then the back two behind the seats. So summer 2024 starts to come to an end. My internship is ending. I got to go back to my second year of college and go back to my low $10 an hour paying job. Oof. During that school year, I was like, hey, I need to fix a couple speakers. Got those fixed. And that's when I was like, let's throw some subs in it and make some rumble. Here behind the passenger seat is 212, Rockville's slim fit subwoofer setup, which it's not the best, but for the $200 or whatever I spent, it does the job and my truck bumps. So we're in that fall coming into the second semester of being in my second year at college, and I decided I wanted a camper shell. That way I could put all my junk in it and it made moving so much easier. So I did that. I got a cheap Facebook Marketplace camper shell, put it on there, and it kind of weighed down the back a little, but it was still stock suspension, so nothing really changed. I finished school early and I get to go work a spring internship and make a little extra money before the summer internship comes. And this would be the turning point in the build, because as the end of May approached, I saved up my money over the spring internship and I bought Rick's Ranger's DJM 3/4 3 inch front, 4-inch back drop kit. And now since this is a 97 Ranger, it's on Dream Beams or I-beam suspension, which means there's not really control arms, but there's like two beams together like this, and this is kind of how they work. If my elbows were the wheels, the spindles or whatever. In the back, it was just a flip kit. Put the axle over the leaf springs and you're good. Bolt it back up. Into the front end, much harder, much more difficult. This took up the majority chunk of time of that 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. job that we did. Yes, we did that overnight. Shout out to my brother. But getting these new drop beams in basically makes it to where it's lowered, but it raises the spindle part of it. That way it sits higher and sits closer to the top of the wheel well. And so once you get in alignment, your geometry pretty much stays the same until you switch to coils. Coils would be no good. I'd have crazy camber and it'd be crazy hard to fix it even with the camber bushings that I do have installed. So summer 2025 hits. The build is looking like lowered Ranger, camper shell, stock wheels. It was all right. It still looked good, don't get me wrong. But I knew by the time my summer internship was over, I needed to get me some wheels. I knew exactly where to get them. Facebook Marketplace. I got these 1993 SN95 Mustang GT rims, and they were only about $150 to $200. Got them on Marketplace here in Kansas City. And I didn't put them on instantly because I needed spacers, so they sat in the back of the truck with the camper shell until I went home. So I get home, I go to the local place called Nick's Wheels, who helped me do some of the suspension stuff afterwards. And I got some 2-inch spacers all around. They put the tires on and they installed the wheels for me. And it was sitting nice, especially with the camper shell. It weighed it down just a little bit, so it looked kind of squatted, but not bad. And it just had a really good height. April 2026 comes. I'm going home. It's the weekend. I park my truck in the street outside my house. Wake up the next morning. Mom comes in. Somebody just hit our cars. What? Someone hit our cars? What do you mean? I go outside and some idiot decided to drive into my mom's parked car, which was parked behind my truck in the street parking slots, hitting her car really bad, pushing it up into mine, and totaling both of our cars. Oh my gosh, totaled truck. What am I gonna do? This is my baby. How can it be totaled like that? And right here, this bed, this isn't the original bed because of that. The bed in this corner, it kind of, tailgate got smashed in. The actual like floor of the bed got smashed in, and it was just real dented up over here on the passenger side. Well, it was totaled. It wasn't our fault. And insurance took care of us eventually. And so after spending time in rentals, and eventually I had a Chevy Impala that got totaled too a few weeks ago and just got towed away. That's why the truck's back. Everything just kind of was not going my way. So the truck stayed back home while I came to work my summer internship, and it sucked, honestly. But my uncle had a bed, and we swapped beds, and he knew a guy who could paint it for cheap. And so that's exactly what we did. I had my dad take the truck to my uncle's out of town, different town, 4 hours away, whatever. And they swapped a new bed onto it. It was originally green, and my uncle took it to someone who can get it painted. Got it painted fresh black, as you can tell. That was one of the worst parts about the truck before, is everything was faded paint. And even though I tried to spray paint some of it, it just still ended up not looking good. So now, even if it's not like super glassy, it is so much better, and I love it. It just looks so good, especially right now in this lighting. This is me like 20 minutes later, just making some more cool clips. Forgot to say, how can I forget about the side exit exhaust? Hard to see, and you probably see it in the clips, but just had to throw that in there because I forgot. So let's cue the montage of everything I've kind of ever recorded on this, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment what you want to see, what you don't like seeing, subscribe, go follow the TikTok, and then just stay tuned because this thing, looks good, but it's not done. And even if it were done, you'd still keep seeing it.
I don't want to be a rapper. I want to be a sniper.